The Bank of England base rate sits at 5.25% once again. I really don't know what this means. What is this Bank of England base rate? Because I'm lost in this conundrum of Bank of England base rate sitting at 5.25% and then all of a sudden changing. So what is this all about, Ifti?
That's a good question, Pradesh. At 5.25% since August, I think that's very good news for some of the borrowers for sure. So Bank of England base rate, effectively what it means is it's the rate at which the Bank of England lends to banks. So not always banks borrow money from Bank of England, but that's the rate at which they borrow, because we call it the Bank of England being the bank at the last resort. So, if that's the case, they'll be borrowing at 5.25%.
I hear a lot about this thing called swap.
Yeah.
I really don't understand what this swap all means, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do understand the fact that Bank of England base rate directly affects the variable products. But apparently a lot of people say that the fixed rate is affected by swap.
I was just about to say that, Pradesh, because fixed rates are generally connected to swaps. So if somebody is monitoring their fixed rate, what am I going to be paying my fixed rate? You probably want to look at the swap market, right? So that's the one that tells you what's happening. The swap rates is the rates at which banks borrow from the money market, right? So if you are going for a fixed deal, very likely the bank will borrow money from the money market and give it to you. They keep a markup and give it to you. So that's why swap rates are generally very connected to your fixed mortgage. So if somebody is looking to sort of get a fixed mortgage, I think for them, it feels better for them to monitor the swap rate rather than the Bank of England base rate.
So you're saying I have to monitor my swap rates rather than the Bank of England base rate, especially if I'm on a fixed deal. How exactly do I monitor the swap rates, Ifti?
Yeah, I mean, if I was you, Pradesh, I'll monitor both, right? I'll look at what's happening with the Bank of England base rate, because if I decide to go on a tracker, because that might be important to me. But also, I would monitor swaps as well, because a lot of people go for fixed rates. So that's the best indication for you. But obviously, there are enough websites, the financial websites, it all talks about swap rates today, and it'll tell you what the swap rate is on a 2-year deal or a 5-year deal. So that's something better for you to monitor. But like I said, there's enough resources out there. But the best thing to do is, make use of advisors out there, because they monitor that for you. So that's what they do.
Okay, so looks like I have to split my eyes between the Bank of England base rate and the swap rates, which is going to be a little challenging. But I just need to know what the relationship exactly is, or if there is any relationship at all between the Bank of England base rate and the fixed rates. So is there any relationship at all?
Technically, it's two different things, right? Because Bank of England looks at the economy and it gives you the rate, and the swap rate is something else, right? Because it looks at what's the immediately what you can borrow from the market for a 2-year deal or a 5-year deal. So technically, it's two different things. But this is what I said earlier. It's probably best for you to be in touch with an advisor, because they keep monitoring this for you, right? It can be your bank, or it can be a mortgage broker, or people like us, right? So we can help you with things like this. So to monitor that, it's probably best to keep in touch with an advisor.
I just have another question. Sorry to interrupt you there. You mentioned about 2 and 5-year deals, right?
Yeah.
How exactly will these rates impact the 2 and 5-year deals? Because right now the biggest question everyone has is whether should I go for a 2-year deal or a 5-year deal, and I believe we already have a video on that as well on our YouTube channel. So which exactly is the better one? Because looking at the 5-year deal right now seems like the cheap option in terms of the rate itself. 2 years slightly expensive. So how exactly do you determine this, Ifti?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what advisors do, right? They sit down, understand your circumstances, and they tell you what to do, right? So, if you think you're moving house, for example, in the next 3-4 years, 2-year deal might be sort of better for you, because if you go on a 5-year deal, it comes with a penalty clause. So if you're with an advisor, they will work it out and tell you, okay, what's the penalty going to be? But it's a good thing for you, right? So all those sort of things affect whether you want to do that. But currently, as it stands, some of the 5-year deals are cheaper than a 2-year deal. So some people are going for 5-year deals. But the expectation, I think, looking at those numbers, is that interest rates may go down over a period of time. That's why the 5-year deals seem a little cheaper.
Okay, so looks like I have to go home, sit at the table, put my pen and paper down, do some calculations and see how it really goes. And especially, split my attention between the Bank of England base rate and, the swap rates. So,
Yeah, Pradesh. I mean, obviously, that's what you're supposed to do. But this is why I think it's probably best for you to talk to an advisor. Because with advisors, they track it for you. If you're on a mortgage and you're looking for a remortgage, the advisors will get in touch with you at the right time, because usually advisors nowadays get in touch with 6 months in advance. So they will tell you what's best for you. They will track the Bank of England base rate if you're likely to go for a tracker, but they will also track the swap rates to see how the market is moving. So they might be able to tell you in advance saying, look, it's going in this direction. So that will make life easy for you.
I should probably give you a ring then once I go back home and put the pen and paper down, so we can have a chat on what I can do next on my mortgage.
Yeah,
Isn't that
always, Pradesh. It's always, I mean, Team WIS is always there to help you. But of course, there are other advisors out there. There are banks out there who can advise you as well. Go with who you are very comfortable with, right? So, that will help you decide your next move.
All right, Ifti, thank you so much. It was really nice having a chat with you. Thank you again.